very famous Led Zeppelin intro by John Bonham. An epic, huge drum intro, so big, the Beastie Boys had to use it on their intro to Rhymin and Stealin on their first big album release. What if that's not all you wanted to do with that drum beat? What if it wasn't just a loop of that famous iconic drum beat? What if you wanted to do something else? Like, or something like this. Or big and halftime. Anderson's turn?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear you play these big drums. Go. Yeah, all right.
That's true.
And you notice I have hi-hat, snare, two different snares, and then the bass drum. The bass drum has quite a few layers. Snare has 2 or 3 different velocity layers, and then a rim shot effect, and then the hi-hat has about 2 or 3 different layers. So how did we put all this together? Let's take a look at the screen. Okay, everyone, here we are. I'm in Logic, but you can use anything else. You all know that. So what I've done is made a project here. However, there are some Logic-specific things. I'm using the EXS24 sampler, which, yes, it does need a facelift. It needs, it needs a new GUI, an updated GUI, but it's a pretty powerful and easy to use, quick and drag sampler station. I like using it. Of course, there's a ton of others, Native Instruments and everybody else. So use the one of your choice, and you'll know it well as you're working with it. So I've used this one for years, and I've used the other ones too. But I used this one for this project just to drag the layers to it. So I'll show you what we did. That's the only thing really Logic specific here. So here is the song right here, the intro with When the Levee Breaks. All right, and then, so the Beastie Boys took this right here. Right, for Rhymin and Stealin. So, but when you break these up, you get this before the next instrument hits. There's a hi-hat. But see, it cuts it off. So what do we do about that? And if you were to play these as instruments, of course, that's all you would get. You wouldn't get this with that reflection coming back in from the huge room that they recorded these in, the boom, gazas. So what I did was build a reverb, okay? I built a reverb with the included Space Designer, which is a impulse response reverb system in Logic. Now, of course, there's Space for Pro Tools and everybody else. Everybody has a impulse response reverb or any type of impulse response library now. So in this had a setting, a default setting that was reflective reverb that was really close. And what I did is I thumbed through a bunch of presets until I found something that was really similar. And then I changed some settings in it. So I customized a couple parameters to match it right to the audio, so I was right over the top of the actual loop. And then I EQ'd it some to get just the amount of lo-fi roughness that it had. I rolled off the bottom there. So I did some EQing there to match the EQ of the original recording. So then now I'm going to add in, see I had this muted, so I'm going to turn on this reverb now, and now we'll hear each one of these samples, which to remind you, okay? Now that's John, what's cool about this too is that's John Bonham striking that. That's his hit, okay? So now let's listen to it with the impulse response space that I put on it. So that's the bass drum. Now let's listen to the first hit here. Okay? And so of course, as we play these, I separated these notes and put them far apart from each other. And so I ended up with a couple different hi-hats, like I said, a few different layers of snares, and a few different bass drums. And then I took these samples, and there's a system you can do where you can send these to a new sampler instrument with Logic, and it creates this kind of track here with these automated notes, and then creates the track for you. And so now, when we come into this instrument, and now we can hit these notes, and you see there's 3 layers for the bass drum, 2 layers for that snare. That's the bass drum with the hi-hat reflection if I wanted to use it. That's the bass drum and hi-hat together, but I don't know why I would use that. And those are the different layers of the hi-hat. Now what of course these layers do is it helps us to not have machine gunning so that we can play the kit and not just trigger it with notes or with a MIDI loop. We can play the kit and have a natural playing like you saw me doing and make up beats on the fly, or even use it for performance if you wanted to. So that's what I did. That's how I did it. Let me know what you think. Also let me know in the comments if you want to give this a try. If you guys want to give this a shot, maybe I can put this on a server somewhere or something where you can download the project or the instrument. I can save it as a couple different things. Like I said, it's an EXS24 instrument that I have it saved here as, but I can export or convert this to any instrument as well. So if you guys want to give this a shot, give me a shout in the comments and request it, and I'll see if I can put it up somewhere, and I'll put a link in the description afterwards. Okay, I hope you guys like this one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.